My name is Joseph. I'm the governor of Egypt. I'm the overseer of the house of Pharaoh. Typically, I'm a very dignified man. Something horrible has happened to me. When I was 17 years old, all my brothers were out watching sheep near Dothan. And my father wanted me to go out and check on them. When I started coming over the hill and I could see them in a distance, I could tell that they were all tight together having a conversation. And I could see tension even in their body language from a long ways away. There was a lot of jabbing and pushing and jostling until I got within earshot, and then they settled down and they scattered away. And when I got close, I looked at my brother Reuben's face, and he looked at me with this look of horror. His face said something like, "You need to go. You should not be here." Before I could really even process what was happening, one of my brothers kicked my legs out from under me, and the other ones came in, and some of them were just pulling at my clothes. One of them hit me right in my forehead. You know how hard you have to rip at someone to break a leather sandal? This was so jarring and chaotic. And yet, the kicking, the hitting, I discovered in that moment that there's something that hurts worse than that. It's forethought. It's premeditation. It's collaboration. It happens when the people that you love and care about and trust and respect, you discover that they thought about something while you weren't there and they planned to hurt you. While I was being hit in my imagination, I visualized that this interaction had happened, that my own brothers had had a conversation and they had discussed hurting me, and they agreed that that was a good idea. Everything inside of me flipped upside down, and so did I. Before I could even realize it, I was lying on the ground. My wind was knocked out of me. My back felt like it was broken. They had thrown me down into a pit. It was a cistern. It's a pit that we would keep water in dry areas. This pit was empty. And I remember the feeling of being on my back and looking up. And above me, I saw an image that burned into my mind, and I have not forgotten this image. The thing that I saw in my greatest moments, this image would come back and cut me down. When I was already down, this image would press me down further. So from the bottom of this cistern, I looked up and I could see the light coming through the circle. And from around the circle, I saw the silhouetted heads of my brothers looking down at me. That was the last time I saw their face until today. I know what I want to do. I know exactly what I want to do. I want to do what you think I want to do. And I would be right. I would be right. They started it. They did this. I want to throw the first one. I want revenge. Justice. I want them to feel what I felt. I want them to hurt like I hurt. I want them to experience the pain that they put in my life that changed my life forever. And I would be right. And there's others. I could throw this at Potiphar's wife. She tempted and tempted. She knew exactly what she was doing. And against every created desire in my body, I resisted. I was a man of integrity, and she lied about me. Then in prison, wrongly in prison, I'm speaking to the butler. I interpret his dream for him. He says he's going to speak on my behalf, and he forgets and leaves me in there for 2 more years. I want justice. In a strange way, I feel this way about God. That at the same time that I know that he has been with me, what kind of God lets this happen? What kind of God lets someone rot in prison when they don't deserve it? Lets them experience what their brothers did to them. I want to hurt them because they hurt me. And that's justice. Justice is making things right. But I have learned that this revenge is also heavy. I've been carrying this, waiting for this moment for 20-some years. And I know that if I throw this, I will continue to carry this for the rest of my life. That not all justice is equal. That while this justice may appear to make things right, it also means that I have to carry that moment of woundedness for the rest of my life, and they do too. Nobody gets out. Everybody pays. There is a justice of mercy, though. And that in the justice of mercy, I first recognize that I do have the right to revenge, but I choose not to throw it. The road of justice cuts through the valley of revenge on its way to the mountain of mercy. And the only way to get there is for me to lay down my right to revenge. I would be right, but I would be imprisoned to this. I'm going to give them mercy. The confrontation with them was so overwhelming, I needed to come into this place and process, I'm ready. I'm going to give them mercy. There's something else. My father's not exempt from this. My father, his name is Jacob. He set this up. See, from the moment I was born, he treated me like the favorite. He treated me completely different than my brothers. There's a lot of reasons for this. But he drove a wedge in between us. He would give them work that he didn't give me. He would tell them things about me that are dysfunctional. I remember one time they were all working and he called me up and I went up to him and I turned around. He asked me to turn around and stand like this, and he put this very expensive coat over me right in front of them. One brother got a coat. My dad fashioned a wedge and hit it over and over and over. He set the scene for, and you know what? He was like this. I heard stories about my dad before he was even born. that in the womb, he was wrestling for position with his own brother. Before he was even born, it's like it was inside of him before he could even make a decision. The story goes that when he was born, he was holding onto the ankle of his brother. You know what? His dad was like this too, Isaac. Isaac was a favorite son who had a favorite son. In fact, this goes back to my great-grandpa Abraham. See, God promised my great-grandfather a son, and he didn't wait. He did it his own way, and from that day forward, our family has been cursed with favoritism. In fact, at the end of Abraham's life, he gave Isaac all of his possessions and then gave a few gifts to the rest of his kids and sent them out of the land just to protect his favorite son. And it got passed down and passed down and passed down, and my dad, Jacob, handed me to my brothers on a silver platter. How is that fair? I never even really saw it. I wonder how often we don't even see the way that our generations before us, our parents and our family dynamics, that they impact not only the way that we see the world, but the problems we deal with. It's like we spend our whole adulthood responding to our childhood. I feel like there's a few things I have to do to deal with this, because this has been another burden that I've carried in my life. And if I want to get out of this, I think the first thing I've got to do is I've got to engage in the human experience, that our family's not the only family, that maybe every family deals with this, that problems get passed down through the generations. And if I disengage and say, I don't want anything to do with the previous generation because of what they gave me, I'm disengaging from a normal human experience. Maybe the second thing is empathy for my father. That's hard. He hurt me. I want to hug him and hit him. I feel this tension inside of me of praising him and blaming him. Hey, Dad, you know that favorite son? You killed him because you couldn't deal with your problem. But maybe he's also an adult responding to his childhood. I got to have some empathy. I think the third thing I've got to do, I've got to take responsibility for my own life. I mean, Jacob got what he got, I got what I got, and I'm going to pass on what they're going to get. But what I got, it might be a reason, but it's not an excuse. I'm responsible for my tomorrow. All right, that's another mercy. It's not revenge, it's resentment. And the burden of resentment, if I hold on to it, it will weigh me down for the rest of my life. All right. Yep, there's another one. It's like healing comes in layers. When you extend mercy, you see something else. You heal enough to know how you're broken. What is it? It's me. It's me. How's that possible? I told you the story about how when I went out to visit my brothers, they were watching the sheep, right? But I wore that coat. What was I thinking? My dad, he did fashion this whole favoritism problem. He passed down the broken that he was given. It was like habit to habit, addiction to addiction, broken to broken, and I could have said no, but it's like I got tangled up in the wars of other people, and Before I was even old enough to pick up a sword and a shield, I was so battle-torn. I was this way now. And so I wore the coat out there. In fact, I knew that they had nothing nice to say about me, and I told bad stories about them to my father. I'm not going to get into this whole other thing. I was given a gift of interpreting dreams. I mentioned that earlier. I did not use it very well. I'll tell you one thing. It's really difficult to use our God-given gifts the right way when we're young, and I messed it up. I was able to interpret dreams. I already knew that there was tension between me and my brothers, and I had 2 dreams, but the point of the dreams was both the same thing, that they were going to bow down to me. And with no tact, I told them about these dreams. But I have grown. I mean, that's what I did when I was 17. I was arrogant. I was ignorant. Things would be right in front of me, and I'd miss the point. And in some ways, I cut my own legs out from underneath me. But look, I've grown. Recently, Pharaoh had a dream. He brought me in, and he said, nobody can interpret my dreams, but I've heard it said of you that when you're told a dream, you can interpret them. And when I was 17, I would have seen this as an opportunity to elevate. But I got stung. I got stung really bad. In fact, that changed my life. I've been responding to that for a long, long time. And so what I said to him was, I cannot do that, but God can give you the answer you desire. You see that? I grew. But I'm carrying something. What I'm carrying is not who I am today, it's what I did. How is that possible? That even when we grow and heal and mature, we can reflect on things that we've done and carry that around. It's not revenge and it's not resentment, it's remorse. Remorse and shame and guilt. That I did this. I made my bed and I'm gonna have to lay in it. I'm forever marked by the decision that I made. My whole adult life has been a response to one error. And I've been carrying that around. If I carry this around, I will always be lower than I need to be. I will always be less than I need to be. I don't believe I was made to walk in shame. I don't believe that God designed me to walk around with guilt, particularly when I did deal with that with Him. In fact, He showed me mercy. God has always been, all I know of God is mercy. That even in the disobedience of my great-grandfather Abraham, He still used him. Even Isaac, He still used him. Somehow, He still used Jacob. Somehow, He still used me. I've only known a God of mercy. Why don't I feel it? Is it possible that God gives mercy easier than I do? And if I don't extend mercy to myself, I won't enjoy His. I've got to set this down. But first, what about you? Did someone you trust hurt you? Did you feel the chaos? That the sting of a fist didn't hurt as much as the forethought that came before it? that there was a conversation about harming you and people that you loved thought it was a good idea, that they had time to plan it out and still did it, I am so sorry, because I know that pain, and I know that that changes you forever. I know that that changes your capacity to trust anybody else. I know that that changes how you see yourself, that you're gonna hold back, you're gonna position yourself, you're gonna protect yourself and make sure that every place that you go is safe so that you don't get hurt like that again. I'm sorry, but you're gonna need to set this down. If you're given a moment like I was given to repay, to get it back, hurt for hurt, pain for pain, you will have to carry the burden of revenge for the rest of your life, and so will they. The only way you will get to walk in freedom is to choose the justice of mercy, that we are right because we are right. I've chosen not to take revenge, or maybe it's not that happened. Maybe it's your parents or your grandparents, your family dynamic. Maybe you've hesitated even in really being honest about this. But if you were to be honest, you have your father's addiction. You have your mother's anchor. And you are resentful. And I'm so sorry that that was given to you. It's not fair. You got caught up in somebody else's war. But throwing this resentment at them will mean that you both have to carry it for the rest of your lives. The only way you get to move forward, and the only way that they're going to get to move forward, is if you decide not to throw the justice of resentment, but to lay it down for the justice of mercy. Or maybe you aren't perfect and you made a mistake. And even though God has forgiven you, you don't enjoy it because you don't forgive you. Maybe you feel like less, lower, because you feel like you need to pay for this for the rest of your life. You've got to sit in remorse. You don't. If you choose to throw this burden, the justice of remorse, that's the only way to make things right, is shame on you. Now we're just, because you have owned your mistake, right? You're not hiding or pretending like you did it. I did something wrong and I will live with it and I will own it. You'll have to carry this around the rest of your life. The only way out is to exchange the justice of remorse for the justice of mercy. Do you need to give mercy to those who have hurt you? Mercy to the generations before you. Mercy to yourself. Perhaps you need a private room. Around the room are burdens. And you have two options. If you feel that you need to stop carrying this around, find one of these burdens and pick them up and go to your private room. If you cannot set it down, take the burden with you, but make a plan. Some of these burdens, if you've been carrying a burden for 20 years and you can't put it down in 2 minutes, I understand. But don't carry it for another 20 years. If you've got to take one of these out to your car and say, I'm going to the park this afternoon, I'm not carrying this anymore. I can't do it. I can't fix this for you. And God can't fix this without you. Let's talk to him.